Well, hi, everybody. This is Dear Mama Sal in front of the Christmas tree, and welcome to everybody. I just wanted to let you know that today is our Soul Sunday broadcast, and for those of you who might not be regular viewers, let me just explain. We do 3 broadcasts a week. The first one is on a Friday lunchtime at 12 o'clock Pacific, where we do a learning module. It's called our skills broadcast, so we can improve our skills. And then Friday evenings at 7 o'clock Pacific, we do our smile broadcast, where we do whatever we can to make sure that we can smile a little. And and Sundays, we do what we call our Soul Sunday. Hi, Jonas. Our Soul Sunday broadcast, where we just chill out a little bit. Hi, Jody. Good to see you. I love your little Christmas tree there. That's so cute, Jody. You got to teach me how to do that. So today, I wanted to first of all start off by asking you, and just remind me, if you will, Jody, to ask other people along the way. But I've decided to start each of these broadcasts with a question. For example, on Soul Sundays, what touched your soul this week? All right. Because I think it is really important for us to realize that every day, and sometimes every hour, something probably touches your soul. It's one of those moments, where you can just feel it. And it may not always be a good one. Sometimes some things touch our souls that hurt. But I just want you to make sure that we sort of get in touch with that, because I think it's really important that we do. So that makes my tree look really narrow, which it isn't, as you all know. Maybe I should get a bigger angle on this. Hi, Erin. Here we go. And there we go. That gives a bit more of the tree, right? All right. So what we're going to be doing is just literally slowing down a little bit. I intentionally talk a little bit more slowly on a Sunday, just so that we can sort of feel it. Erin, I was delighted to hear that you are happy in your new place. That touched my soul, I don't mind telling you. It's been a tough couple of weeks for Jonas. Well, Jonas, I'm glad you're here to help us maybe heal a little bit for you. That's I'm delighted you came in here. And if you want to talk about it, just go right ahead, and just let me know if I can talk about it live, so that it'll be on the replay. So I don't know what touched your soul, but I got a call from Doug, who is, I don't know if you know, for those of you who don't know, Doug is one of my adopted sons. In other words, he adopted me, like Benji did, and a couple of others. And Doug called me to say that he was safely back from New Orleans. And what he told me touched his soul, touched my soul, if that makes any sense to you. He was saying, amongst all the wonderful things he did on New Orleans, he obviously said I was going to love it, because, it's still on my bucket list. But what he said was that he actually went to a lot of the obvious places. But, the things I asked him about is, did he go to see any of the plantations, that were run by slaves, that I know are still kept in as much as they can in original order? And he did. Now, for those of you who don't know, Doug comes from Kenya, and so this was very meaningful to him. And you could hear by the way he was describing it to me. He was saying, Mom, it just hit me so deeply. And I said, yeah, it would do, honey. That I totally understand. And then, because I knew he'd been there, I asked him, did he go to District 9, where Hurricane Katrina had happened? And he said that he didn't, but the people he was with went there the week before he went down. And they were saying, that New Orleans has made a statement not not to level that place down and rebuild it, that it's part of their heritage. And he was talking so deeply about how New Orleans will not let people, I don't care how much money you've got or how big your company is, they will not let you tear down an old building to put up a new one in the old quarter. This is called, if you want to do renovations inside, be my guest, but you do not touch our heritage. And I think that is so wonderful. That touched my soul, that there was a community that said, do not touch that part of our heritage. And that was amazing to me. All right, let me see what Jonas said here. Jonas said, I overthink and reflect on things too much, and I can't help it. It's hard to be present. I can't focus on what's real at the moment, no matter how hard I try. And he's given me permission to repeat that, by the way. I'm stuck in my head no matter what I do. Jonas, first of all, a big hug, all right? Because I understand that. And of course, the one thing, oh, I do have it. By the way, how many of you, sorry about that, Jonas. Do any of you know the hymn, We Plough the Fields and Scatter? Well, I just scattered all my stuff. So Jonas, the most important thing, all right, is to just work out the difference, as you know, and because you've been around long enough, the difference between, I'm having trouble with my pen, what is emotional and what is real. So just keep, if you can, Jonas, keep asking yourself, if I got rid of the emotion, what is left? What are the facts? All right, so let's see what he said here. And it's just been stressful overall. I don't get Christmas this year because I work, and some people at work have been putting me down. I feel like I'm getting nowhere. All right, so here's the thing. All right, do you love Christmas? Because Jonas, in my household, and I just want to tell you this, we never celebrate Christmas on Christmas Day. Right? We go to other people's places and whatever. But the people in my house, we don't do that on Christmas Day. Because to us, Christmas is a feeling, and it is a I'm really klutzy today. It's a feeling, and it's a time of family. All right. And so I understand the religious connotation of the day, but we always separate it out. And so after everybody else has done Christmas, we do ours. Normally a couple of days later. I think Christmas is on a Wednesday, and we're going to do it on the Sunday. So if you're working on Christmas, you can actually just, if you choose to, Jonas, you can say it's just December the 25th. All right. I can celebrate Christmas with whoever it is you want to celebrate it with on any other day. And I would actually make sure that you do that. Say to them, look, because I've got to work, could we celebrate it the day before on Christmas Eve? I know a lot of people who do that. Can we celebrate it the day after on Boxing Day? I know a lot of people who do that. So, this is about, you don't have to be tied into the day. All right, so Jonas is saying, yes, but we're too busy with finishing moving into our new place as well. Well, Jonas, guess what? I've got that going on for me as well. So, this is like you're in overload. All right, that's right. All right, it's just you are in overload. Does anybody here in the room relate to that? I had it earlier this week, Jonas, so, I really know what it's about. And the one thing I can recommend to you, all right? The one thing I can recommend to you is, hang on a second, I'm not in my usual environment here because I've moved. Hang on. I got to move things around. Jonas, what I do, all right, and I've got to be quite honest with you on this one. Um, this was my to-do list for the day. That's how big it is. But the truth is, this is on Sunday, this is what I said I have to do. All right. And, it's three things that I, if I don't do them, it will change my life. So the trick is to write it, get it out of your head, Jonas, and onto some paper. All the things that you're stressing about. And then literally give yourself Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and slot a couple of them in a day. And you will do more than that. I think we all know that you will do more than that, but make sure you've got the important ones and you start with them. For example, Jonas, tomorrow I have to go to the bank because I've got to make sure that I've got the money for the deposit on my new place, and I also need to make sure that my credit card is paid down, so I have got room for that, and all those sort of things. Very, very stressful things. I don't like discussing money a lot, but I have to do it because otherwise I could be in trouble. On Tuesday, I've got 4 hours of an inspector going through the house, that I'm going to buy, and probably hear things that I don't want to hear. That's going to be interesting. And then on Wednesday, I have to be vetted by the place where I'm going because it's a community. And, maybe they won't like me, so I've got a lot of stress coming, but, I'm not dealing with it yet. Today, I'm dealing with the stuff for Sunday. Do you understand, Jonas? I've got the other ones day by day. All right, that's what I do. Is what do I have to do, and I spend a little bit of time really focusing on that. Works really well. What I really would like to accomplish on Monday is already here. But you know what? I know that the only important thing on Monday is to get to the bank. You know what I mean? Something that is vital to my life. And so about unpacking and stuff, you got the rest of your life to unpack if you want to. All right, I want to see what Beth said. But the important thing, sorry, Jonas, just to go back, the important thing is that you're talking about it. Well done. And I'm certain everybody here will, compliment your courage in admitting it because we all relate to it. Beth is saying she had a rough day at work. I'm home now. My husband let me vent to him without giving me any advice. Good, you've trained him well on that one. He just listened and let me get it out. I felt like a release for my soul. Charles finally gets me. Well, the reason he finally gets you is because you told him what he needed to hear, how to support you. I have a feeling that Charles has always wanted to support you, but because you are such a dynamo, there were times I'm certain he hadn't the foggiest idea how to do it. And what I do believe, Beth, is you have taught him now exactly what you need, and he can give it to you. And he's probably going, phew, Erin's saying, I know what overload is. I've been overwhelmed for the last year. And it's only now that I'm starting to calm down a little. Yes, Erin's had terrible overload. She had the death of her father, and her mother had already predeceased her father. So she, that was a huge emotional shift for her. Plus, she also moved to another location. And as you know, Erin is bedbound for the most part, and ended up in a place she didn't like and felt abused in it. Now, you imagine what that is like when you can't get up and walk out, where moving away requires so many things. And, Erin, I just wanted to say how grateful I was to the universe that you obviously have somebody who is advocating for you. Am I right on that one? Because that must have been a lot of shuffling that went on, especially at this time of the year, to find you a new place that had beautiful doors. And by the way, when I saw my place, Erin, you were there with me, because one of the things I noticed about my new place is that it has a lot of those big sliding doors. It has 2 rooms with big sliding doors out onto the patio. So I just thought those are my Erin doors. I will think of you when I look at those doors. So I was delighted to hear that. That was good for my soul as well. So when you think about it, um, Jonas, I don't know if you can believe that, but I do need you to know that I was so stressed out twice this week that literally the tears were coming out of my eyes. But it wasn't for very long because I realize I'm an overwhelm. What is the answer to overwhelm? Write down everything that you need to do, make the time. Instead of spinning in your head, make the time to sit down and write down what you have to do. Now, did you get my point, Jonas, about Christmas is just a day? And, if you have to work on Christmas, then accept that. And I'm sorry that your girlfriend is going out of town for a week as well. But she's doing it for a really good reason, right? She's going to be with an ailing grandparent. And who knows, it might be the last time she gets to do that. So I think it is wonderful that you can and organize that. It's so funny. I've just clicked on a link that I thought was my quotes for the day, and it turned out to be a link that I've been trying to find. Wow, that's so good. Okay, let me go back and find the quote that I wanted. So Jonas, this is be gentle with yourself, all right? And we totally understand just how stressful this time of year can be. All right, Jonas is saying, and I'm certain a lot of you, Erin must have felt this as well. Yes, I can accept it. I just don't know when the good times are going to start again. And it's hard to put up with all that it is when I'm feeling like it's never going to stop anytime soon. The good news is that you can see there is that hope. And there is hope. I am certain that Erin went through months of wondering whether, you know, it was going to get any better for her. Trying to deal with all the legal stuff for her, after her father died, and doing all those things, and she can't easily, do things. She can't get up and go to the kitchen and go and make a cup of coffee, right? She can't do a lot of the things that we might do to distract ourselves. All right, so Beth is saying, when I am overloaded, I need to dump it on someone just to listen so it's not bottled up and festered. It's out of my mind so I can focus on what really matters. Yes, I have a small group of people that whenever I am frustrated or angry, that I go there and I will just say, I need to vent. And, I use all sorts of language, Jonas, that you would be quite surprised at. It's sort of like, but they know I need to do that. And I need to get that emotional about it so I can get it out of my mind. Jonas is saying, and isn't it beautiful? He's saying, one of my favorite quotes, hope is like the sun. If you only believe it when you see it, you'll never make it through the night. Oh, Jonas. Jody, can you remind me to put that quote up and put Jonas's, maybe take a screenshot for me, and put Jonas's name that he shared it with us? I won't use your last name, Jonas. It's just like that is such an incredible gift to us all. When you are under the stress that you are under, to give us the gift of that. I don't know how many of you found that touched your soul. Hope is like the sun. And if you only believe it when you see it, you'll never make it through the night. Ah, wonderful, Jonas. And Jonas, if you can, or maybe maybe Jody can do that for us. But and let me know where that quote came from if you know, and if you don't worry. We'll Google it and try and find it. But Jonas, that is a huge gift to us all, and I thank you for it. Because that's what I kept saying to myself is, overloading is not going to help me calm down. That's what I said. Overloading is not going to help me calm down. What will help me calm down is getting all the things that are going through my head onto a piece of paper and working with them, and taking the time to do that. And the moment I did it, Jonas, it's like, for example, I would say, I've got to work Christmas Day. I think it's called cognitive therapy, right? And so you go, yes, and is that the end of your world? If they pay, are you going to get paid double for working Christmas Day? It's from, oh, really? It's from Carrie Fisher and Princess Leia? Huh. Well, it's a great mantra. You know something? I think I need to rewatch that original Star Wars again, because I think there were more quotes in there that we didn't really get. Or in fact, Jody, could you make a note? Maybe let's do some quotes out of, because between Yoda and all the other good quotes out of Star Wars. Yeah. So thank you, Jonas. That's two gifts you've given us this day. So, and do you understand what I'm saying? So you're going, I've got to work Christmas Day. So you go, okay, fact. If you let go of all else, all the emotion, it's just another work day, but it happens to be Christmas Day, all right? So I'm pretty sure you're going, and I'm going to miss out on this. But I'm pretty sure that if you want to have, a Christmas with your family and friends, they probably would move it for you. You get the time and a half. That's what I was saying. Do you get paid double or time and a half? All right. So look at the upside of working Christmas Day. Good man. There you go. There's nearly always a benefit if you really. Are you a very religious person, Jonas? For Yvonne, it would be very difficult. She's both religious and Christmas Day is her birthday. For those of you who don't know, Yvonne is my dear friend and tenant of 20 years that I'm going to have to leave in a month. So believe you me, Jonas, I am definitely a little bit emotional about that. Okay, I decided what I would do today is to give you some quotes from Brené Brown. For some reason, I don't think I've done quotes from her. And I was thinking it was a really good idea. Jonas is saying, I look to the Buddhist philosophy, but I don't consider a religion necessary. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. So the fact that you don't normally go to church 3 times on Christmas Day or do something like that. That's what I was trying to find out. So really, do you think you can sort of get over it, get over the Christmas Day thing and just go, okay, it's just a day. I need to go work. All right. And not keep your mind on what you're going to miss out on, because it's a fact. You need to go work. So let go of everything else. And if you want a family Christmas or whatever it is that you think you're going to miss out, talk to the family, see if they'll do it on a different day. Beth's going, I work Christmas Eve and the day after Christmas, the biggest retail days. I'm excited. It'll be hard and challenging. I choose to be happy to be able to give my coworkers, some of my coworkers, to have a day off. There you go. Typical, Beth. Okay, so Erin absolutely loves Brené Brown. So here we go. Let's do some quotes from her. She said, it's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how strong men stumble, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by the dust and the sweat and the blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming. But who does actually strive to do the deeds? Who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, and who at the best knows at the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly. Don't you think that's a wonderful quote for Jonas? Huh? You know, I think, Jonas, that is a great quote for you. See yourself going into battle with your emotions. See yourself actually being able to survive this, because I truly believe you can. And I am certain that we will all give you permission to be a little bit scared every now and then that you won't be able to. But as long as you keep, reaching out and letting us know what's going on, as long as you keep being honest. I had a feeling you might. Do you want me to read it again so you can really feel it? I know it's a long one, but isn't that interesting that that was my top quote for the day? And by the way, um, yes, exactly. No, no, it's way too long for me to type in the chat, but what I hear is you would like to have the quote. So, Jody, please nag me. Jonas, do you know my email? Because if you send me your email, okay, send me your email and ask me for the first quote from Brené Brown. And if you don't know how to spell Brené, don't worry, just do your version of it. I will know what you're asking for. And I will send you the quote. How's that, honey? But I am going to read it again because I think we all need to feel this at a very soul level. It is not the critic who counts, not the man or woman who points out how strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done it better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short time and time again because there is no effort without error and shortcoming. But who does actually strive to do the deeds? Who knows great enthusiasm, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, and who knows best at the end the triumph of high achievement, and who, at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly. Okay, now the actual quote was from Roosevelt, just so you know, but it was the preface. It's why Brené Brown called her book that name. Her book, Daring Greatly. I think it would be very fair to say, Jonas, that you're going through a time of daring greatly, that the sun will come up again, and we all pray that it will. And none of us know. It's interesting. There was one point this week, Jonas, where I started to worry, what if, the what if monster hit me a little bit. And then I remember laughing and saying, wouldn't all these what ifs be insanely stupid if I were not around next year? You know what I mean? And I know Beth doesn't want to hear that. But, it's like it always puts it in perspective. I'm so busy worrying about what could happen and trying to plan things around it. But on the other hand, it's like, do I know I'm going to be here next week? All right. So I just need to do the best I can in the present. And, Jonas, does that make sense? I do it what you're doing as well. Yeah, Beth is going, la, 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 la. Beth, whenever I say those things, I know it's going to trigger you. So, but at least you're getting a sense of humor about it. All right, so let's see what she said. She said, we spend our lives waiting. Oh, yeah, waiting until we're perfect or bulletproof before we walk into that arena. We ultimately sacrifice relationships and opportunities that may not be recoverable. We squander our precious time and we turn our backs on our gifts and those unique contributions that only we can make. So here's the thing, Jonas. Do you think I should have waited until I was, really a good YouTuber, knew everything there was to know about it before I started to come onto YouTube? Or do you think that maybe the best way to learn life is to live it? What do you think, Jonas? I have often said to people that the first time I walked up onto a stage, um, and had people, an audience of 250, I think was my first audience, have 250 people in front of me that did not know that I didn't know what I was doing. If I had waited until I knew what I was doing, I probably never would have done it. So I look at sometimes we need to go through these dark phases of the sun, the darkness. We need to go through these to realize that we do come out the other side. It just is up to us how long it's going to take. Yes, Erin, I'm glad you got the book on Audible, so you're going to love these quotes. Because, she said, true belonging only happens when we present our authentic, imperfect selves to the world. Our sense of belonging can never be greater than our level of self-acceptance. Yeah, Jonas is just answering my question. He says, I think the best way to learn life is to live it. Nobody has all the answers. We learn from each other's trials and triumphs. You bet we do, Jonas. And there are people that are crying for you in their souls right now because they would love to be able to take that experience away from you and have you in serenity. But the truth is, Jonas, from my very limited knowledge, but the truth that I found is when I let go of everything else and go, I will be able to sort this out. And the book is called Daring Greatly. Hang on a second. Let me write that down. I'm typing it. Oops. I'm having. Okay. I think I got that right. Daring Greatly by Brené Brown. And by the way, to be picky, the last E on Brené has an accent aigu on it, one of those things. Well, isn't it amazing that these are the quotes I decided to read today? And funny enough, Jonas, one of the things I thought about was, why am I reading these quotes when they're not really the soulful things? They're actually more about courage in a lot of ways. And then you come in and I go, oh, that is why. She said that if we can share our story with someone who responds with empathy and understanding, shame can't survive. How many of you found that actually taking the risk in here at Dear Mama Sal, taking the risk to tell people that you are scared, or taking the risk to tell people that you are overwhelmed, or taking the risk to tell people, I thought it interesting, Jonas was saying that he doesn't feel valued by his coworkers. That takes great courage. We know that. But there's something about being able to talk about it that changes it. I have no fear of telling you guys that I literally had tears running down my eyes a couple of times because I do want you all to know I am a human. You're right. I broke down in tears of frustration on the Friday night broadcast. I was so frustrated that I couldn't get a message across to somebody that, that literally the tears were coming out of my eyes. So, I'm not a perfect person either, Jonas. I just also believe that I just have to just calm this down. My job in life, I believe my job in life is to be able to keep control of my mind. That's what I realized, which is why last year I concentrated the year on emotional intelligence. That's why everything that we've done this year is about emotional intelligence, because I wanted to show people if you can control your mind, you're allowed to get scared every now and then. But the question is it going to be for 5 minutes or 5 years? And, I've had some awesome examples of people who I know have got it because of their recovery time. They've had really stressful things happen, but their recovery time, has so changed. And if you were able to say, you look, it is what it is. Yeah, I got to work Christmas Day. Yeah, so be it. Now then, what can I get on with to make me happy? By the way, Jonas, are you going to give yourself a reward for working Christmas Day this year? And I like the fact that you can be grateful for all the times that you didn't have to work it. That is a very clever and very Zen thing to do, right? To give thanks for the day, for all the years you haven't had to work it. I like that. All right, so now then, let's go on. Vulnerability is the birthplace of love, belonging, joy, courage, empathy, and creativity. It is the source of hope, of empathy, of accountability, and authenticity. If we want greater clarity in our purpose, or deeper or more meaningful spiritual lives, vulnerability is the path. You know, Jody, I can I tell the blood sugar story, please? Yeah, Erin is saying I've said a lot of things to you guys that I would never say to anyone else. It's very liberating. It kind of allows you to take a deep breath in a way. Yeah. Um, the regular viewers know that Jody and I talk on a daily basis and many times during the day, to be honest. I probably talk to Jody more than I do to Yvonne. And, one of the interesting things is that Jody is a creature of habit. How about you guys, right? So I get used to a certain pattern with Jody, and I'm very aware that at this time of the day she'll probably talk about this, and about this time of the day she'll talk about that. She has a pattern to her life, and most of us do. So what I noticed this week was I think there were 3 days that she did something unusual. She didn't report to me. And I say report to me because we chose to be accountable to one another to reporting our blood sugar. As you know, I'm trying to keep mine under control. And for 3 days, off and on, in 7, I noticed she didn't report. Now, that is not her pattern. Do you all understand that? So it put up a red flag in my mind, and I went, there's something wrong with Jody's blood sugar at the moment because she's not reporting it. All right. By the way, I report to Jody every morning because it's helping me look after myself. I report how many hours sleep did I get, what my blood sugar is, and my resting heart rate. Okay. And it's just literally, I put sleep 8 hours, blood sugar, 7.7, or She converts it into American, and then my resting heart rate is at the moment 76. So I do that every morning. Now, if I woke up one morning and didn't do that, I'm pretty sure Jodie'd go, "Why did Sal not start her morning telling me her stats?" Because that's what she does every morning. You see, that's what happened to me when I listened to Jodie this week. I'm going, I think that's the third time this week she didn't tell me what her blood sugar was. Or she said, I didn't test. That's what she said. Right? So it was like, I know I didn't test, so therefore she doesn't have to report it, right? And I'm going, why would she not test 3 times in 1 week? That's not like her. So I called her on it. Being me, I go, Jodie. Well, actually, I actually said to Lauren, we know she's got a problem. She hasn't reported her blood sugar. Um, and sure enough, out of the woodwork came Jodie and said, yeah, we're up. So what she's saying, I was a flop this week. Oh, Jodie, imagine if I had said that about myself. I imagine if I'd said, well, I cried this week, therefore I was a failure. Wow, I can imagine you'd be all over my case, Jodie, because you are a friend. This was not a flop this week. How much stress have you had? And by the way, team no sleep on December, what did that do to your body that I tried to warn you about? Yeah, you'd be livid if I had said that. I know you would. So guess how I'm feeling right now, right? I find you really do live a double standard, Jodie. There's one for me, and there's a totally different one for you. You are so kind to me and so hard on yourself. So was it really a flop week, or did you have incredible amount of stress this week with your father-in-law, with your fibro, with Comcast going down on you, with it sounds good, doesn't it? But you know what I mean? All those things that happened to you. You had a difficult week. Was that so difficult to say? Are you some sort of failure because you had a difficult week? I don't think so. And yet, even though you had a difficult week, were you there for me every single day while I was going through the stress? Were you busy supporting me and holding my hand through all the legal documents and the counter offers and all the other things? Were you there the whole way, Jodie? Like a friend? Making sure I stayed calm, didn't totally overwhelm, didn't feel alone. Yeah. You had time for that, for which I thank you. And just Jodie, it touched my soul because I was pretty sure you were going through a tough time. And Jodie's saying, I would hold your hand through anything. I believe you, Jodie. I hope the feeling is mutual. All right, so how about this one is for you, Jodie. What we know matters, but who we are matters more. Okay? Who we are matters more. You are a good human being. And so is Aaron, and so is Beth, and so is Jonas. Sometimes we have a funny way of showing it. But as I said the other broadcast, right? If we take the bad times and realize it is but a grain of sand in our big beach, Jonas, in the big scheme of things, this next couple of weeks of stress for you isn't really. Um, it's part of your beach. Don't get me wrong, but I like to think of it, Jonas. When I was going, can you imagine? I was electronically signing documents with lots of zeros on it, Jonas, because I was selling my house and trying to buy another one, and all the time you're thinking, what if I have missed something? What if I have missed something that could, really hurt me? I cannot afford to make a mistake. And I'm going, you know, either get to a lawyer to read this for you or just trust that you will pick up the important parts, right? And you have enough legal knowledge to know what to look for. And so, at a time, I just had to sort of be my own big sister, and just calm me down and say it's okay. Lawrence Welk said, I carry a small sheet of paper in my wallet that has written on it the names of people whose opinions of me matter. To be on that list, you have to love me for my strengths and struggles. You have to know what I'm trying to be wholeheartedly, but still cuss too much. Flip people off under the steering wheel and have both Lawrence Welk and Metallica on my iPod. Okay, that's what she said. It wasn't about Metallica. And it wasn't about Lawrence Welk. I thought it's still her quote. All right, so let me read it again, knowing it was hers. I carry a small piece of paper in my wallet that has written on it the names of people whose opinions of me matter. To be on that list, you have to love me for my strengths and Jonas and my struggles. Okay. You have to know what I'm trying to be wholeheartedly, but still cuss too. I'm sorry, and still cuss too much, flip people off under the steering wheel, and have both Lawrence Welk and Metallica on my iPod. You see, to be on that list, you have to let me be who I am, warts and all. So, Jonas, the fact that you're stressing out a little bit here does not make you a bad person, does not make you a failure, does not make you anything but somebody who's under a lot of stress at the moment. And Aaron, you know, I just am so glad that when you realized you were in a room that would never suit you, that you did what was necessary to move. I don't know how you did that, honey, but you might want to write me an email and let me know how you managed to get out of that place the way that you did. Because I really would love to tell that story, because if ever there was a wonderful story about if you don't like it, do something. That was amazing what you did. And look where you ended up. But sometimes I think maybe you needed to move to the bad place because you needed the chair fixed, and you got it fixed by doing that. And you ended up in a room that was purple. I just like that is a hue of pink. I like that. So here's what she also said. Brené said, we judge people in areas where we're sorry. Well, let me try again. We judge people in areas where we're vulnerable to shame, especially picking folks who are doing worse than we're doing. If I feel good about my parenting, I have no interest in judging other people's choices. If I feel good about my body, I don't go around making fun of other people's weight or their appearance. We're hard on each other because we're using each other as a launching pad out of our own perceived disability. Oh, sorry, not disability, deficiency. I apologize for that. We are hard on each other because we're using each other as a launching pad out of our own perceived deficiencies. It's really interesting. I found out that if I am totally in love, I don't spend, my time dissing other people who are in love. However, if I am feeling in the middle of a pity party, the great philosopher Sal once said, the world is full of happy couples when you're alone. And I remember saying that one day, and I thought, I need to hold on to that quote in my head, because one day that will not be true of me, and I will know I have grown. You know what I mean? It's like when I don't think like that anymore. I've got somebody that I love very dearly writing to me at the moment, and was talking about, well, the greatest revenge is, and I'm going, One day, I hope this person will see that revenge is not the answer. Think sadly, not badly of other people. I came up with that saying this week out of, somewhere. And what a great title for a book, people. What do you think? Think sadly, not badly of people. And, so look at it. If you are in a truly great place, you don't need revenge. You don't need all these worry about everybody else. What you can do is just work on yourself, because that is the one thing you can change. Erin's saying, no, I didn't get any traffic, so that I'm still waiting for it to be fixed here, honestly. I think I was moved to that place because the other lady who lived there did not have her own voice. Ah, you see, Erin, so you were her voice. Well done. She said, I've given a few people detail about that place because I still have nightmares, and to think I have PTSD or some form of it. But just, you will email me. It was a great lesson. That's why I'd like you to write it to me, because I think in writing it, it will all make even more sense. All right, so Beth is saying, I like being thin, but when I see bigger people, I never see them as overweight. I usually just think I wish I was more comfortable in my own skin. Kind of jealous of them. I know I'm weird. No, you're not weird at all. The same as when I look at thin people. I think that there's part of me that would like to be a size 10 again, Beth. And I know size 10 to you is probably huge. But I remember that one day in my life, I made it to size 10 for about 2 weeks. One day in my life, I made it for 2 weeks. Yeah. Anyway, but the worst thing was, Beth, I did 2 very stupid things on that day, or that week, 2 weeks. Number one is I bought a very, very expensive size 10 suit from Mondi, and it was like over $1,000 to celebrate. In those days I earned a lot of money, so I could do that. But I bought $1,000 suit that I wore for 2 weeks. And then I also bought a pair of size 10 washable suede black jeans. Okay. I did enjoy wearing them for a while. Right. So Pia's saying that is a good title. Yeah, I think so. Think sadly, not badly. So if you feel yourself thinking badly about somebody, just correct yourself and go, remember what Sal said? Let me think sadly for them rather than badly of them. And Jonas, this one for you. Numb the dark and you numb the light. All right. One of the things I realize is, in order, for those of you who listened to the broadcast on Friday, which I took down, and I've got to edit it before I put it back up again. Something happened in there that I need to do some edits on it. But what you will hear if you listen to that one, if you make the time to listen to it, is that all the things that happened during that 6 months of really, who takes 6 months to sell a house? All the pieces of the puzzle in that 6 months went, literally just went like this on Monday. It was, if you have followed the journey, it was just like, can you believe that? And look at that. Do you remember when this happened? And look at that. Remember when that happened? And it all was part of the story on Monday when I found the place that I wanted to buy. Jody said one day many years ago, I made it to a size 12, and that was that was my happiest 24 hours. Really, when I was a size 10, I had legs all the way to my eyebrows. You know what I mean? I looked awesome. All right, how about this one? The willingness to show up changes us. It makes us a little braver each time. I find that I know quite a bit about the people who consistently come and visit us on Dear Mama Sal. Most of them, not all, but most of them really do want to change their lives, right? Most of them do want to do the work and find their own place and sense of serenity. Why? Why would you come back if you didn't? Brené Brown said, connection is why we're here. It is what gives purpose and meaning to our lives. The power that connection holds in our lives was confirmed when the main concern about connection emerges as the fear of disconnection. The fear that something we have done or failed to do, something about who we are or where we came from, has made us unlovable and unworthy of connection. Jonas, are you still here? I just need to know because this is a story I would like to share with you, but I will share it with everybody else as well. But um, maybe not. Okay, so here's the story. The two times that you are okay, Jonas. So listen up on this one, honey. You know, the two times that other than the time when I got frustrated and cried, but the two times this week where I actually cried without meaning to, but the tears came out of my eyes, was when I was talking to my realtors about obviously leaving here. I'm probably going to cry again, people, but don't. I'm fine. Oh, I'm fine, but don't have a Kleenex. Wait. Oh, yes, I do. It's part of my box. Okay, I'm just going to make sure, just in case. So, um, Jonas, for me, leaving my house is not just leaving my house; it's leaving my best friend. Right? That's been in the same house as me for 20 years. So every time I talked about leaving the house, I found that I started to cry because my soul doesn't want to be like that. And then what would happen, Jonas, is I kept saying, I know that the change is good for me. I'm going to need to make new friends. And it's amazing, Jonas, because the fear of making new friends is very great for me. Can you believe that? Do any of you believe that? I actually have a fear of making new friends. And the reason is because I am not an easy person. I'm not like Judy. I'm not easy to like. I have a big mouth and opinions, and I have pretty strong boundaries. And I tell the truth, at a very, strong level. And so, to me, and I'm not really what I call um, a superficial talker, if I can word it that way. I don't do well on how's the weather. I want to talk deep stuff, and so but not everybody wants to do that. And not only that, one of the fears that I have is how many people in that community. One of the things I noticed was that the covered deck had an ashtray on it with cigarettes in it. So there was part of me that went into a little bit of panic, like, I wonder how many people smoke here. And that means that even if I'm trying to make friends, I'm going to maybe be around smokers. And will I be able to hold my own and not smoke? So all the time, Jonas, these thoughts were coming up for me, and I had to keep stopping myself and going, why don't you work on that one when you find out if that's true? Maybe it's just the people in this house that smoke, but luckily they smoked outside. But it's like, seriously, so you got enough to worry about. Don't worry about that. And then I had to remind myself, throughout your life, Sal, have you always made friends? Yeah. Have I always made friends who loved the real me, not the one they chose to see that was, talented or whatever they see, funny, da 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 da, whatever it is that they see. And believe me, I've seen it. But how many of them loved who you really are? And I'd like to say the people who loved me for who I really am are the ones that I bothered to share my really am self to. Does that make sense to anybody? When I think about it, I had to trust them enough. First, I had to make sure they were trustworthy, but once I had made pretty sure that they were trustworthy, I trusted them enough to tell them more of my truth. And if they still loved me at the end of that, then, I was pretty impressed. Because I know that a lot of who I am today is because, Jonas, of the tough times that I have had, of the betrayals, of the heartaches, of the roller coaster of life. I could put it that way. But it really, all those things made me who I am. So I'm pretty happy. Listen to this one. Brené Brown. Isn't that interesting that I was talking about that? Brené Brown said, shame derives its power from being unspeakable. So if we speak about the things that we feel ashamed of, if we speak to those things, do you understand it loses power? Okay, let's see what Erin said here. I did the same thing when I was moving. I know the change is good for me, and I know it was the right thing to do. Mainly after, leaving my girls who have been there for me. Yeah, that must have been very difficult for you, Erin, to leave those people who loved you so much, right? And realizing that my pretty hair days are over unless one of them comes to visit. And it's actually very hard for me, as I know it will be hard for her too. Yes, I know that the pain Yvonne will feel, Erin, is as great as the pain I feel, right? But there's also a chance, Erin, that you will find somebody who does hair even better. Difficult to imagine, but it is possible. Or you could teach them the skill. Pia says, I did have friends like that, but friends come and go. But you do realize what you once had. Friends, Pia, my friend Marnie, who some of you have met because I put her on camera every now and then. Okay, my friend Marnie always says it this way. And again, it's funny how much of all of this is about two circles. But what she says is friends come for a reason, to teach us something, for a season, or a lifetime. But sometimes this is me and this is you, and we touch for just a moment, all right, in our individual lives. Now, that moment can be a year. Erin, how long is it since you and I connected, right? You've been around a long time. I would think it must be at least 6 years that we keep touching each other's souls, and our trust level of each other changes each time. Does that make sense? So people are in our lives for a reason, for a season, or for a lifetime. And by the way, from my experience, and I'm certain some of you will relate to this, some people I thought were there for a lifetime were there for a season, and therefore a reason. So yeah, just be aware of that. Brené Brown said the real questions for parents should be, are you engaged? Are you paying attention? If so, plan to make a lot of mistakes and bad decisions. Imperfect parenting moments turn into gifts as our children watch us try to figure out what went wrong and how we can do it better next time. The mandate is not to be perfect and raise happy children. Perfection doesn't exist. I found what makes children happy doesn't always prepare them to be courageous, engaging adults. You see, that is one of the things I've always said about YouTube as well. I have a great fear, maybe, I pray I'm wrong. I have a great fear that we are teaching a generation of young people that life is perfect, and that if you get onto YouTube, you can make millions. And, it goes on and on. And, it's not true. Life is tough, right? But it is tough because it teaches us the things we need for the next part of our life. I am well aware that what is happening to me is forcing me to change, to make new friends, to go through the stress of moving, so I can find out what have I learned. By the way, I spoke with Dougie today, and I said, Dougie, I didn't say, could you come and help me? I said, I need you for an afternoon in in the near future. It wasn't, please, please, please. I just was a fact. Doug, I need you. And the reason I need you, and by the way, if you can bring your friend with the truck, it would be very helpful, because I need to do the last bit of clean out in the shed, and some of that stuff I might not want to be carrying. And then secondly, I need you to help me redo my garage one more time, because I've still got stuff in there that needs to be thrown away. There's crud in there. And we need to do the one side that we didn't do last time. And you know what he said? No problem. Let me find out when my friend with the truck is available. I'll get back to you. You see, I didn't feel like I said that would be the greatest gift you could give me for Christmas. It's the gift of your time. Erin's saying no one here knows how to do hair like that, and trying to teach them, but they just do normal stuff. Yes. So your job, Erin, is to teach them to go outside the norm, right? And to say to them, you're not looking for perfection. You've got a long time for them to be practicing. Am I right? You just go, don't worry about getting it perfect. Just try something new. Let's try one new thing every week and see how it goes. I did something today, Erin, because I had seen it somewhere, or something like it, and I thought, oh, I got to try that. And that was, hang on, let me see here. Yeah. Does it look better that way? Yes, maybe. I did julienne strips of leeks. Can you see that? For dinner tonight. So that's done with a julienne thing, that does those small strips. But I did it down a whole leek. Never done that before. And then I added the red pepper in, because food always tastes better if it's got color. And then this is for dinner tonight, obviously. And then I am sort of, come on, turn this way. Hello. It doesn't want to turn that way. Okay, I'll show you this way. And then I've got cauliflower, beans, and carrots as well that are, I'm just slow cooking while I do the broadcast. So to me, I don't know why, but color makes it taste better. Isn't that strange? All right, Niesh is saying certain friends are difficult to let go of. Yes, you bet. I agree with you. I tell you, I had a couple of husbands that were difficult to let go of, regardless of what they did to me. Those are the ones who are genuine. If they are like vapors, so they easily fade away, they are fake in my view. Yes, and so I always had to remind myself, Nyasha, of my husbands. You love them dearly once. That's why they're still in your mind. And when I started to get resentful and to think really nasty thoughts, I went, something? Because you really love them, why don't you really deeply, if you look at the big beach of who you are and the nice person in you, don't you really want them to be happy, even if it's not with you? Oh, Jody wants to see that julienne tool. Okay, hold on a second, honey. I'll go get it. I should have thought of that. You're bound to want it. Hang on a second. Yeah, I should have known that if I showed that. It looks like this, Jody. Can you see that? It's got like, I don't know what it's called, in the big thing. I actually found it in my local store. And all I did was had the leak and I just literally ran it down the leak like this, and it just made these incredible strips. I actually buy big carrots, those mega carrots. I buy the big carrots and I do the same with carrots with it. Also, I do, um, what's the white carrot called, Jody? Not a Swede, it's a turnip. Turnip. I do turnips and stuff like that, right? Just with this. And by the way, I then sometimes actually, um, you've seen me do it, but I actually fry them on the barbecue. Yeah, it's a turnip. Yeah. So anyway, I really recommend it. It works really well. And it looks so pretty, doesn't it? Best put cinnamon rolls in the oven. You're right. Don't I wish? All right, so let's carry on here. Nothing has transformed my life more than realizing that it's a waste of time to evaluate my worthiness by weighing the reaction of other people in the stands. Yeah, isn't that what I was talking about? I'm a little scared about going to a new community where they don't know me yet. But how many of you are going, oh, they're going to find out in a hurry? um, and part of me goes that a lot of people, see the one side of me, and the other people, you guys have seen me get angry, and you have seen me hurt, and you have seen me all those things, and you still love me. You gotta love that. So I think that is the point that I'm trying to make to you all. I could have pretended, because I'm a pretty good actress if I want to be, but I could have pretended not to have those flaws. Do you understand that? I could have kept that pretty dark. All right. But the truth is who I am. The quicker I come up with who I am and lose the people that are going to react badly to that. But, also I think it's a bit of how you say it, right? Oh, it's very much like a potato peeler, but it's a special one. It's called julienne. Uh, Maybe Jody can type that for me while I find the picture for you. Yeah, they're called julienne strips. Right? So if you look at them, they're very fine. Yeah, sure. Definitely couldn't do it. It's like a potato peeler with more blades on it. Okay, so that literally is strips of leek. Looks very much like a potato peeler, right? So here it is, looks like a potato peeler, but if you look carefully, it's got those extra blades on it. Hope, can you guys see that? I feel like I should be doing, the the makeup thing. Okay, can you see those blades? So those blades are what cut the strips. You can make zucchini, pasta with it as well. Yep. Funny enough, I've got a very fanciful spiralizer, but this is way better. Just so that you know, I shouldn't be advertising it. And I found it in my local grocery store. In that section that has the good stuff. So did everybody see my new place? That's important. And if you didn't, I did find it, and I'm moving. Brené Brown said, I define vulnerability as uncertainty, risk, and emotional exposure. With that definition in mind, let's think about love. Waking up every day and loving someone who may or may not love us back, whose safety we can't ensure, who may stay in our lives or may leave without a moment's notice, who may be loyal to the day they die or betray us tomorrow. That is vulnerability. Live in the present, right? Remember what I said about signing all those documents with so many notes at the end of them, all right? I just got to feel the fear and do it anyway. All right? I had to feel the fear and do it anyway. And by the way, when you do these deals, just so that you know, if any of you haven't done it, when you do these deals, I literally put in an offer on Monday morning, and the sellers had until 24 hours to accept that offer or not. And then they counted, right? They heard my offer and they counted it. Now I had only this much time in which to decide, do I still want it or not? It gets faster, as that 24 hours goes along. And so in that last few hours, it is really scary stuff. And of course, it is good that they do it that way, because this is like stop nickel and diming, get it over with. Do you want it or don't you, right? And that's really what it's about. So listen to this. Who we are and how we engage with the world are much stronger predictors of how our children will do than what we know about parenting. I think that's so true. I was thinking, about meeting new people. Can you understand that the fastest way for me to root out the people that will probably want to be my friends is just to be who I am? Opinionated, funny, caring, private. You see, I am a contradiction of a lot of things. Isn't that amazing? I'm actually a very private person, and yet I'm on YouTube. Go figure that one out. And that's why it's difficult sometimes for people to be aware. I am a very good friend, but I'm not necessarily somebody that's going to be, with the exception of Jody, that I'm going to be talking to every day. No, that's not really who I am. Now, I think, Jody, the reason I got into talking to you every day was, why was that? You were the sister I never had, maybe. I don't know, but it's interesting. All right, Nyasha, so saying you weren't here for the Friday evening broadcasts. And you couldn't have seen the additional photographs. Well, would you like to? Oh, wait a minute, because I don't think I can do the cover up. Stop. Oh, yes, I can. All right. So anybody not seen the pictures other than Nyasha? I just don't want to do it for one person, but if a couple of you haven't, then I'll go through it again. How much time have we got? Because it may be a while before the lunchtime one goes up. So let me do it for you. I know where to find it because I accidentally hit on it when I was trying to get this one. So just wait a second. I know it's here because I accidentally hit on it. Come on, team. So I'm not quitting. There we go. Now, you hear me say I'm not quitting? Jody will be chuckling because one thing that Jody always says about me is I don't quit. Okay. Jody, I don't think this one has the same problem, but I will cover just in case. Okay. Or not. All right. No, don't close. All right, let me get back to the beginning-ish. So you understand I'm moving to a manufactured home, right? You all got that? I really do. So I'm just trying to get to the beginning now. I've got the pictures, but I just want to get back to the beginning. So Nyasha, you saw the outside, but not so much of the inside, I would think. Actually, this doesn't tell you where it is, so that's pretty good. I'm feeling better now. I don't have to cover it. Okay. So Nyasha, let me just move the camera a bit here. All right, here we go. Are you ready? That's the room. That is the room between the living room area this side and the bedroom area on that side. There are 2 bedrooms, by the way. That's called the flex room. It's in between the 2 parts of the house. So this is the middle section of the house. Jody lusts after that coffee table. Oh, lots of pictures of the flex room. This is the guest bathroom. This is the main bathroom. Well, this is the main bedroom, the master bedroom, with double doors going out onto the deck. Another picture of the bedroom. This is the spare bedroom, which does need a bit of work on it, but you know, if you take out the furniture, not so much. This is the laundry room that is pretty tight. I'm going to miss a lot of things in my laundry room here, but I will make a plan. I'm not sure. You know, I have a hanging rack in my laundry room, but something tells me I need something across or something so that I can hang things up. Which way am I going? Oh, this is the deck. 29 feet of deck covered. And what is so clever is that the cover goes out beyond the deck so that if you're rolling the garbage cans down in the middle of the British Columbia rain time, you will be covered as you roll your garbage cans down to the road. How about that? I really like that. Going, why did they do that? And I'm going, you can roll the garbage cans without getting wet. I like that. Okay, so this is part of the patio furniture. By the way, I made them I didn't make them. I asked them to leave that in. At the very back there, I don't know if you can see, but it's a raised garden that you're going to see in a second. So this is the other end of that patio. Actually, it's very private. You know, you haven't got you've got a little window there looking out onto you, but that's about the only one. And on the other side, you haven't. All right, so here you go, Nyasha. This is like a raised garden at the back, and that shed that you see there is about 12 or 14 feet wide by the whole width of the double wide. What did we say a double wide was? About 20 feet. So it's like 20 feet of shed by about 12 feet. That's huge. Lot of room. Will take me a long time to get it organized for everything, but you know it's there. And there is a second little shed, this one right here, which is one of those fiberglass garden sheds. The double width is 20 feet. Yeah, Jody did the research for me, so I would give you the right information. See, here's the raised garden for herbs and vegetables and stuff. Don't you think that's cute? With steps going up. No lawn. I don't have to mow a lawn. All right, so this is standing at the top of those raised beds looking down. And I love the fact they hang all their garden tools on the shed. Now, why would that be important to me? You might ask. And I went, doesn't that tell you something about the neighborhood? If you can hang your garden tools on the back of your shed like that and nobody steals them, what does it tell you about the neighborhood? Oh, by the way, when Benji saw this, Benji obviously asked whether the motorbike stayed. Which I thought was way cute. Okay. So there's parking at the front for 6 cars if you park carefully. Oh, by the way, I'm going to turn that space there into a complete rose garden. How many of you can imagine that as a rose garden? And one of the things that I'm probably going to do with my friends is say to them, if you must come with if you must come and visit with a housewarming gift, because people do that, right? Do me a favor, bring me a rose. All right. So this is the front door, Nyasha. Okay. And when you stand in the kitchen, look at all the light that you're looking into, Nyasha. The Japanese maple is stunning. Yeah, it's going to be wonderful. I'm really happy about that. So, and this is looking again in the kitchen, but looking the other way, Nyasha. It's a huge kitchen, just wonderful. And the other thing, Nyasha, is that it's plenty of room for me to move if I ever end up with a walker or anything. The only passageway is this tiny little bit right here. It's about 10 feet. So I really like that. This is when you open the door, Nyasha, this is what you look at. As you come through the front door, this is what you look at. Now, obviously, this is their furniture, not mine. The space looks beautiful for a fountain. What a nice idea. Yes. So, oh, wait a minute. Let's go this way. And Nyasha, it had, the sit-up counter here. So I asked that they leave the bar stools rather than have to buy. And they said yes. What I'm waiting to see is I asked that they leave the mirrors. I wanted this mirror. I forgot to ask for the bench underneath it, but not to worry. That's not got to. Anyway, so that is it. All right. And how many of you can see me there? Oh, don't put that away because Jody says I forgot to do. Well, I haven't forgotten that I need to do. We'll run a little bit late today, but that's okay. All right, the countdown. Here we go. Thanks, Jody, as usual. So let's see what we got. We have got 11 months until and 16 days until American Thanksgiving. We've got only 10 months until and 1 day until Canadian Thanksgiving because we do ours in October. We've got 3 months and 28 days until Easter, just 94 days until spring. We're in the double digits. I love it. Daylight saving time is only 83 days away. Isn't that awesome? Little bit of a concern that Mercury is going in retrograde, which is normally when things go a bit funny, at the time that I am taking possession of my new house, which is February. I'm moving in January, but I actually own it in February. Because what I did is when I did the deal, I said I want to be in there a month early so I can move stuff without too much stress. Valentine's Day is 2 months away to the day. Christmas, just 9 days, people. Well, I want to say, oh, I thought I added in the days I was moving and everything. Apparently I didn't. Okay, we'll do it for next time. Jody, reminder, please. So thank you, Nasha. I think, when I looked at it, one of the tricks when you go and look at somewhere is to see, obviously, a lot of that furniture and everything was beautifully staged. So what you need to do is look at it and go, that's a lot of space. Now take all the furniture out with your mind and put your own furniture in it. And I can see my furniture in there. And funny enough, there's only one thing that I've got that I don't think I can fit in there. All right. There's only one thing that I can't fit in there, and that's the folding table I have, which is an old freezer, chest freezer. I have a chest freezer in my laundry, which I use as a folding table, and I won't have room for that. So, I've just written to the new owners and said, if you'd like it, I'll leave it. It makes a very good folding table for laundry. But if not, then it'll have to go. So there we are. That's exactly what it is. I will be moving in less than a month. Anybody want that stress? But there is lots of room, and that's what I also checked for, lots of room for my artwork. And I really do believe that my furniture will look great. By the way, Nyasha, when I did the purchase of it, when I put in the offer, they asked me for a little bit more money than I wanted to spend. Well, bit more money, quite a bit more money than I wanted to spend. But what I did was I started to say, could you leave some things? And, the bar stools and the patio furniture was on my list as well. When would it go into retrograde? February the 17th, I think. Well, it's not that bad things happen. It's just that whenever, if you notice, whenever things are going wrong, I keep asking, is Mercury in retrograde? It just sort of seems to be, it just seems to be how things work out, Nyasha. So, just understand that. It's not necessarily, don't wish bad things to happen at that time. It's just that it makes more sense. I found that it makes more sense when you go, whoa, some weird stuff's going down. Is Mercury in retrograde? And then, Jody and I will check that out and go, oh yeah, that's probably why. Right? So you don't have to take it personally. You just blame it on Mercury. All right, so Pia is saying moving is interesting though, because you either find things you couldn't find before, good point, or find things that give you memories, good or bad. Do you know, Pia, what my biggest challenge has been? I know this is going to sound so strange. Where am I going to broadcast from? All right. But, I'm pretty certain some of you are going to want to have me broadcast from that kitchen. Am I right? So I can open up the doors and show you. And then I got a feeling some of you will probably like it if I broadcast from the fireplace. And then, but I'm pretty sure that my backup computer or my main computer for doing broadcasts will be in that flex room. No, I got that big shed. I have other plans. You know how much crud I've got, Pierre. So it'll be probably a year before that shed is. I think the shed has both electricity and water in it, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm waiting to find out. But I think I saw both an electrical lead go in there, a big one, a proper one. And I think I also saw water going in there and a drain pipe. So I could end up having, a complete art studio in there, but then where would I put all my crud? It's got a crawl space underneath. Yeah, anyway. I think I've got more than enough room, really. And so you're asking me where would I paint? I probably will paint in the kitchen. Does that shock any of you? And the reason I say that is because that huge worktop is ideal for me with the sort of way I paint. And I'll just have, a big tarp that I put over it and then have that space. So there we go. I'm off to go cook dinner. Tonight for dinner, in case you're wondering, it's a really unusual meal for me. I'm doing meatballs in a very rich gravy on top of mashed potato with all those vegetables. Oh, can I broadcast with the phone so I can walk around the house? I can walk around the house with my laptop. First of all, we got to find out how good the internet is. It is something that Beth mentioned, and I didn't check that out. That would be pretty scary if they don't have good internet in that area. I think I'm going to find that out before I remove the subjects. What do you think? Jody, please make a note so I remember to check that out. This week. Because the subjects come up on Friday. If everything is going in the right direction. Imagine if I moved and I couldn't broadcast. Well, I only allow myself potatoes on Sundays, really. And I'm allowed a little bit of potato during the week, just to, but not very much. But Sundays, I really enjoy my potato. So there we go. All right, everybody, have a wonderful week. Remember Jonas's story. I'm a great believer that every story that comes in to us is one that we all need to hear. When he heard that he had to work on Christmas Day, do you understand that all the emotion around Christmas held on to that? If he lets go of that, there's just another work day, he will not have as much stress. And I think that's really important that we all remember that, and the fact that his girlfriend had to go, chose to go away at Christmas time. I think it's important that, it's like, we can do this. Yeah, she's saying, if there's no residential internet, you can use your mobile phone as a hotspot. Yes, but what we're trying to find out is the reception there good enough for even my phone? Yeah, I know how to do it. I've done it when I've been camping. But thank you for mentioning that. It's a bit of an expensive way to do it, but yes, I do know it's possible to do. All right. And I will, I appreciate the fact you mention it, Nyasha. You are a very clever girl. All right, everybody, have a super week. And remember, 'tis the season. All right? Try not to let everything stress you out. I am so far behind on wrapping Christmas presents, and this week probably won't be the week either, right? So I'm going to challenge myself to try and make and wrap one present. Make, because I've got a couple that I have to make still. But we'll see. This is DearMamaSal saying, remember to look after one another. But please, please, please remember, keeping yourself out of stress is a major part of your happiness. All right? Don't worry about things that are 2 weeks down the road unless you have to. All right? We can do this. And Jody, you and I both know that come Christmas, we will be ready. This is Dear Mama Sal saying bye-bye for now. Hugs.